with another video, man. Hey, I ain't gonna count, man. Y'all been asking for this video. This is Shigaraki versus Mahito. You know what I'm saying? This is Death Battle. Do any of y'all know those characters?
I do.
You do. They like, I don't know who that is.
I know the first one. I know the first character.
She know the first one. Hey, we got some baddies on here. Today, we got Nubia back in the building. What's up, man? No cap. You know, we about to go crazy. So, hey, go ahead and introduce yourself. Let them know where they can find you at.
What's up, y'all? My name is sipofsoraya. You can find me on Instagram at sipofsoraya.
Hi everybody, my name is Chelsea, and you can find me on Instagram and TikTok under the handle The Sober Raver.
Hi, my name is Deshawn Sine, but I go by Day, and you can find me at Unreachable Day Reacts on all platforms. And Kakarugi Schoolgirl.
Hold on, can we see the whole outfit though? Can we see the whole outfit? You know what I'm saying? Can we see the whole outfit? Okay, hey, we like it. We like it. No cap. Hey,
that's me. I'm Delilah. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. It's the DalilaDoll.
My name is Faylo. I'm dressed today as Misa from Death Note. I even got like my little Death Note here in my apple. And you can find me at Twitch, FaylotheSiren, or TikTok, Faylo.music. And I do a lot of nerdy content, so come follow me.
Y'all, it's Nubia. My Instagram is Nubian.b3. TikTok, I am NubianB.
Let's get it, man. Hey, y'all follow these beautiful ladies. We about to get lit, man. No cap, man. Hit that like, hit that sub. Let's go. Here we go, guys.
Shigaraki versus Mahito.
The symbol of fear versus the human disaster curse.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win.
I'm so excited.
Both of them go crazy.
Tenko Shimura was just a sweet, shy boy who loved superheroes.
But sometimes the hand of fate can't abide sweet shy boys.
Ruthlessly beaten and abused by his hero-hating father, Tenko pushed beyond his emotional limits until he activated his inherent superpower, or quirk.
It wasn't something cool like flight or super strength. In his terror, he accidentally killed his whole family. Well, except for dear old dad. That one was intentional.
Tenko wandered the streets alone, silently begging for someone, anyone, to help him. If only a hero was there to save him. But instead, the only open hand he found belonged to the devil.
All for one. The greatest supervillain in history.
He took Tenko under his wing, feeding a hatred of everyone and everything, and grooming him to one day lead his league of villains in destroying hero society.
With that came a new name, Tomura Shigaraki, and an absolutely nightmarish quirk, Decay. It does what it says on the tin. Anything Shiggy touches with all 5 fingers turns to dust. The perfect power for someone who just wants to destroy. Pretty menacing, if not for that dorky-ass costume.
Okay, so everything he touched decays?
Yeah.
Yep.
Dang. You can't even touch your thing to pee, can you?
Like, it decays instantly, too. Like, it's...
What to eat?
Yo, what do we eat?
It's not slow, it's fast. Happens.
That's like crazy right there. That's insane.
Even if his lips touch it?
I mean... It's not everything, and he couldn't control it at first, but now he kind of knows how to control it. So.
Oh, okay. Got you.
It's just his hands
are his thing, but come on, they just look so dumb and fake.
Oh, those aren't prosthetics. Those are real hands from his family that he killed, attached to his face.
My God.
And explicitly commanded to be left there by his mentor so that he would never forget his rage.
Okay.
While his use of Decay started off relatively weak, it rapidly increased in power and range as Shigaraki came into his own.
Decay isn't even limited to whatever he's touching. Anything that touches something he's decaying also decays.
Spreading like an all-consuming miasma that can wipe out anything from an enormous tower to an entire city.
If Decay reaches you, your only hope is to isolate the body part that is disintegrating before it gets to something vital.
After years of training with the greatest supervillain of all time, Shigaraki was finally put in charge of his own team with one mission: he must kill his master's rival, the #1 hero, All Might.
Only to fall flat on his face.
Shigaraki was a terrible leader, quick-tempered, short-sighted, and, well...
Cringe! Oh, he's just so cringe. He uses gamer lingo unironically. He whines like a baby when things don't go his way. He's the kind of guy who would say normie in real life, in front of normies.
But they say defeat is the greatest teacher of all. Only through struggle could Shigaraki manifest his dark conviction.
Right as All Might's new protege, Izuku Midoriya, was coming into his own as well.
These two rivals, the inheritors of their master's blood feud, would push themselves past their own limitations.
Especially when All Might and All For One double KO'd each other, leaving Shigaraki to lead the League of Villains all by himself.
And with the stakes higher than ever before, Shigaraki stepped up. He personally battled the monstrous Gigantomachia for a month and a half straight and conquered other villain organizations to create the Paranormal Liberation Front. Thousands of new soldiers for his personal army.
All to impress All For One's personal quack, Dr. Ujiko, who spent months upgrading Shigaraki's body to make it more like his sensei's. It might have been constant agony, but Shiggy went from Chud to Chad.
Ujiko's experimentation vastly increased Shigaraki's strength, speed, and durability, enough to match and surpass even All Might's absurd power.
Sharing All Might's power between them, Deku and Bakugo were able to punch an island-sized hole in a cloud that reached 24 miles into the sky. We've calculated that before to be nearly 80 million megatons of TNT, almost as much as the meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs.
And Shigaraki can now move fast enough that his body produces hypersonic shockwaves and can even catch laser beams.
And he's tough enough to survive Star and Stripes Intercontinental Ballistic Cruise Punch! Now the new name for my penis.
Rip to the homie.
Over gigantic Omega Storm. Anyway, it also made a blast so big it showed up against the curvature of the Earth.
Though he might seem invincible, when Shigaraki's body is pushed hard enough, he will evolve into a state of uncontrollable power.
So Decay became? Oh shit, more hands!
Shigaraki can spontaneously generate flesh into existence, seemingly oceans of it in an instant, whenever he wants. He can even use it as a type of armor to defend himself in close combat.
But that's nothing compared to Ujiko's greatest gift. Shigaraki wanted to be the new All For One, so what better way than the old man's quirk?
All For One's quirk, All For One, allows its user to steal and store quirks with just a touch.
And All For One has hundreds of them stored up, collected over the years.
Each quirk is connected to a memory of its user's essence in the form of a spirit, a vestige.
Kinda like a piece of their soul. They exist in this kinda psychic world in Shigaraki's body, and can even act as a spiritual defense should it be invaded.
And with those vestiges came quirks, like
okay, so he got souls all in his body?
Basically, yeah.
I don't like that at all.
It's a power that can steal other people's powers. So basically, he could just keep stealing people's powers and using them and adding them to his power.
And keeping them as a prisoner. And keeping their like soul or whatever as a prisoner to do whatever he wants.
Okay, so any competitor, you know, he could steal their power. If they do a power or anything attack, he could just steal it right then?
Kind of.
All you gotta do is touch them.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Healing, air
Terrifying.
blows, radio waves, flight, telekinesis, teleportation of others, and the ability to track foes.
He can even combine multiple quirks together, like in this big-ass electric Kamehameha.
However, any vestige stolen or destroyed will also remove that quirk from Shigaraki's repertoire. They're also sentient, and some can even fight for control.
Which is when the second shoe finally dropped. Because Shigaraki also got All For One's vestige, that means All For One was now in possession of a shiny new body that he'd spent the last 15 years molding for him to take over.
Shigaraki's entire existence was planned from the beginning. Why? Because All Might's previous mentor was Nana Shimura, Tenko's grandmother.
Oh, that's a mess with All Might. That is some next level hate right there.
He manipulated Shigaraki's entire life,
Poor Shigaraki.
all for one purpose: to create a soul so corrupted it would grind away at All Might's perfect world, allowing All For One to take full control.
But All For One's possession wasn't complete, and Shiggy managed to fight his way back to the top, literally decaying his way through vestiges in the process, all to fight his rival Deku one last time.
Despite Izuku's best efforts to save him, Shigaraki was too far gone. his spirit decayed by years of venomous hatred.
And the new symbol of hope defeated the new symbol of fear, burying All for One's grudge for good.
All that Shigaraki asked was to be remembered as the heartless destroyer he was raised to be, and not the broken, angry, crying little boy he really was deep inside.
For just one
what's wrong
moment,
with
though,
that.
Shiggy got in Deku the only thing he'd been denied his whole life, the one thing his lifelong nihilistic tantrum was really all about. He got a hero who tried to save him.
Ever since
He did try to
Cain
save
slew
him,
his
though.
brother Abel and wetted his fields with his blood, man's greatest fear has been his fellow man.
But what if this fear took on a life of its own?
What if all
hate
that
this.
negative emotion humans felt for one another spilled from their bodies and congealed,
I hope he trips
forming
today.
over time a living being fueled by malice, which believes in nothing but the law of the jungle?
Well, then you'd have the special grade curse with a patch face, Mahito. Oh, I've had people tell me I've become a human disaster curse when I've had too many mojitos.
Mahito is one of the deadliest beings to ever afflict mankind. He's no
Okay.
mere mortal, though, but a cursed spirit. And
5'11". Is mojito a drink? That ain't no drink, is it?
A mojito is a drink.
Okay, so he had too many mojitos. Okay. I bet. I had
It's
to
a
make sure.
mint,
spirits exist.
drink.
For real. Okay, she know the drinks out here. Hey, I only know like one drink. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
weaker or stronger depending on the amount of anxieties, jealousies, hatreds, and fears humans feel about them.
Okay.
Like the fear of locusts, kinda weak. Or the fear of smallpox, getting stronger. Or the fear of fire. Oh, goodbye, Tokyo.
So it follows that mankind's fear of itself would be extremely powerful. Those negative emotions manifest as Mahito, a being composed of cursed energy.
It's basically like evil ki. Cursed energy can be used to make spirits
this
way
man
stronger, faster,
so
and
much.
tougher than any normal human. And it's invisible, making curses like Mahito impossible for the untrained eye to see. Only a life or death situation can galvanize a normal person to see a cursed spirit.
That also makes cursed spirits virtually immune to physical damage. They may be physically present in space, but can only be harmed by attacks that embody spirit matter like cursed energy.
Which makes curses insanely hard to get rid of, like ghosts, cockroaches, or my ex. That's why you need a Jujutsu sorcerer to come in and Kaisen the shit out of them. They call it exorcism, but I like the way I said it better.
Curses and sorcerers have battled each other for millennia, waging an endless war over the fate of humanity. Almost exclusively in Japan, though, for some reason.
But Mahito was special. You see, most curses are basically dumb animals. But Mahito has so much cursed energy that it gave him sentience.
So he was recruited by Kenjaku alongside other special grade disaster curses to wreak havoc upon the world. In fact, they made Mahito their leader.
And even more frightening than intelligence and bloodlust, Mahito possessed philosophy.
Perhaps informed by the tragic meaninglessness of interhuman conflict, Mahito is an existential nihilist, believing in nothing but his own will to power. It's a dog-eat-dog world, and Mahito is the wolf.
Which also makes him kind of a goofball. If nothing matters, why not have fun with the
I'm sorry, it look like this nigga got like 3 STDs. He just look like that type, I ain't gonna lie.
Otter, really get your steps in. He loves to dig around and toy with your emotions like a cartoon character before slitting your throat.
An appropriate analogy considering his curse technique, idol transfiguration.
Using his cursed energy, Mahito can control anyone's soul with just a touch, including his own. In fact, he's so good at manipulating his own soul that you can't even kill the bastard without directly targeting it.
In Jujutsu Kaisen, the soul and the body share an immutable connection. Whatever happens to the former affects the latter.
This lets Mahito squash, stretch, and shape-shift his body into literally anything he wants, like Play-Doh. He can turn his limbs into blades or clubs, grow wings like a bird or fins like a fish, reform his body around injuries, or even create clones.
Curse users are naturally unharmed by their own ability. Should he touch a human, though, his alterations to their body are instantly fatal.
And since he's attacking your soul, those physical wounds are gonna be impossible to heal.
Even if his alteration isn't directly fatal, the human body won't last more than a few moments in a transfigured state.
All that with one touch! God, I thought herpes was bad.
His powers mean Mahito treats humans as
Dang,
effectively disposable dolls that he can gleefully experiment on. The more casualties, the better, especially if he gets to break your spirit first and watch you suffer.
Even more twisted is when he combines two transfigured humans together for soul multiplicity, essentially a giant torrent of body horror flesh that he repels at an opponent. Ugh.
Mahito is unbelievably creative with his application of idol transfiguration, and despite being a newborn curse, consistently keeps experienced sorcerers on the back foot.
It helps that he's a quick study who's picked up a number of different curse techniques, like the Black Flash.
By applying cursed energy within 1 microsecond of an impact with an enemy, space itself will distort, exponentially amplifying its force by a factor of 2.5.
Not only does this hurt like a mother, it restores your curse technique and gets you fully in the zone.
And would require reflexes moving nearly 1,000 times the speed of sound. It's no surprise then that Mahito also unlocked the pinnacle of sorcerer techniques, the domain expansion.
Oh,
That's
shit.
the only thing I know.
More hands! A domain is like a barrier of cursed energy, but if you're caught inside, Mahito can use idol transfiguration instantly without even needing to touch you.
It's called the self-embodiment of perfection, the ultimate expression of Mahito's absolute control over his victim's body and soul. The only time it ever failed was against the student sorcerer and Mahito's archenemy, Yuji Itadori.
Because not only was Yuji a barf-inducing goody little two-shoes who believed in the inalienable rights of all living things, blah, 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 he also had a curse inside of him.
The king of curses, Sukuna.
Which meant Mahito's ability affected both souls in Yuji's body. Sukuna didn't like that. No surprise, and kicked Mahito's ass, forcing Patchface to fight with a handicap whenever facing his pink-haired menace.
Yuji's belief in the value of human life flew directly in the face of the world that Mahito knew to be cruel and meaningless. So he made it his mission to crush Yuji's spirit before killing him, murdering his friends, defiling their corpses, and brutally battering him before going in for the kill.
And he's got the strength to do it. Mahito's one of the most powerful curses in the world, and his growth is exponential.
Fellow disaster curse Jogo was able to summon a massive meteor capable of reducing the city of Shibuya to ash.
That'd take an energy of over 800 kilotons of TNT.
And Mahito can take as good as he can give, especially when, in the throes of struggle against Yuji, he evolved, unlocking a vastly more powerful form, the instant body of distorted killing.
Complete with armored exoskeleton and arm blades, this was a taste of the almighty curse Mahito was growing into, a true blight on all mankind.
It wouldn't last. In a
Transfigured
bitter battle of resolve,
humans?
Yuji won out.
Oh, yeah,
In a
it
dog-eat-dog world, there was now a bigger
Disgusting.
wolf.
So he tucked tail and ran away like a bitch. What do you
Touched tail
know?
and ran
Life
away.
suddenly became a whole lot more meaningful the second it looked like it was about to end.
All that gleeful nihilism, just a bitter hypocrisy in the end.
For him, maybe, but Mahito found a convert in his archenemy. After a battle that wiped out thousands of innocent people, Yuji's youthful spirit was gone. The only thing left that mattered was exorcising this curse.
In a way, that was Mahito's final victory, the destruction of another human being's soul. He may not have been around to see it, but the curse Mahito inflicted on the world would bring it to its knees.
Okay. Who you got? You know what I'm saying? Who you got? Day, who you got?
That's a tough one. I don't know.
I don't know.
The first one.
Shigaraki.
I know how to say his name. Whatever.
I ain't gonna lie, you guys have voted too. And I ain't gonna lie, the majority voted for Shigaraki to win. I asked Mahito or Shigaraki, it was on like 10% of people that said Mahito gonna win. Just 10%. Rest said Shigaraki. What about you, Faylo?
I love me some Shigaraki, and I really hate Mahito, but I don't know how he's going to get past the reanimation that he does.
The cloning.
Yeah, not the cloning. He kind of like disfigures and remembers bodies. And I really understand, I understand that Shigaraki can add like hands and stuff to his body, but I don't know how he would get around that. So
Okay.
Yes, Mahito, I guess.
Soraya?
I say Shigaraki.
Okay. DalilaDoll?
I gotta agree with everybody else. But Shigaraki, he's the one that does the decaying, right?
Yeah.
It said he had a fear aura too. That was like one of his other powers. I've been stuck on that for a minute. I don't know what that was about.
Basically, like people that look at him instantly get like overwhelmed with fear.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet, nice thing to have.
And the thing is, too, I noticed Mahito, he can kind of, take people's soul and do stuff with it. But at the same time, Shigaraki can kind of, in a sense, do the same, right? He can have so many souls in him at once.
Yes. Yes. Technically. I mean, it's kind of like have you seen Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Yeah, for sure.
You know how he talks to like the past airbenders? It's kind of like that. Like it's not like he's keeping the souls and they like interchange or whatever, but he takes their powers and they could communicate with him kind of. But
okay.
Yeah.
Got you. And Chelsea, what you think?
Honestly, I really hate both of them. They both scare me a lot. I actually wish both of them would die, but I guess I'll say the first one since he was like abused by his family. So I'll give him some empathy there, sympathy. So Shigaraki.
And Nubia?
Say Mahito.
Okay, she gonna just outbold say Mahito, no cap. Hey, she here. First one saying that. Hey.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Let's get it. Okay. We at the New York station? No, I'm just.
Oh my god.
Immediately headshot.
Mahito. Oh no, that's Shigaraki. That's Shigaraki.
I'd heard of a powerful villain stalking these parts. My organization is going to tear this putrid world down around us. We could use a freak of your talents.
Little old me. Do I want to be king of the social rejects? How about I bring him your head instead?
You better stand on business.
Let's call this your audition.
Oh, I forgot about
That do look like fast though.
You just gonna touch it like this?
Ooh, disgusting. That color scheme was cute.
Did you actually just see that?
Why are you just gonna stand there?
God, how lame!
Oh my god, come on.
Audition over. Did I get the part?
You got to kidding me.
Shigaraki.
What a rush!
Bro, he needs to go somewhere. He needs to die. Fast.
Ooh, the grip. What's the grip? Oh!
Yeah.
That's all you got?
Domain expansion.
Domain expansion. Okay.
Oh, wow.
I can read your soul. You're just a scared little boy whose daddy is mean.
Ew.
Wants to make it everyone else.
Who am I looking at?
Grow up.
Something disturbing. Come on.
I hate him.
Hands off.
He needs to lose.
My masterpiece.
Why did he just stand there?
Come on. Why do you keep giving him chances to get up?
I felt your soul too. You only hate humanity because you were born that way. Totally right.
Oh,
Running again.
yeah, run. Run. Hey!
You grow up.
What I told you!
Come on.
What I told y'all!
No cow.
What did I say, Wiz? Like a
She's a
baby.
Taurus.
He
know, that
ran
was
like a
actually
little
satisfying.
boy. No cow. Y'all seen that?
Yeah.
It was just going.
Already.
Clock it.
Like you going anywhere? Like that
Complex
was
power
crazy.
sets, this match was a puzzle to
That was
figure out,
embarrassing.
which is why we're breaking it down to 3 categories. Physical
That was
stats,
goody for his
survivability, and their powers.
But first, let's address one thing. Could Shigaraki even see Mahito? He's an invisible curse after all.
Cursed energy and quirks are notably different, and Shigaraki wouldn't be able to see curses normally. However, even regular humans can spontaneously develop the ability to see curses in life and death scenarios. And with the Search quirk, Shigaraki would have had no problem tracking it.
So seeing Mahito wouldn't have been an issue. With that out of the way, we can jump into their stats.
This was no contest. Despite the disaster curses being able to destroy entire cities with their cursed energy, Shigaraki scaling to Deku and Bakugo meant he was calculably millions of times stronger.
He was faster too, considering he could react to light beams, while Mahito's Black Flash capped out at nearly 1,000 times the speed of sound. Nothing to scoff at, but Shiggy was takes stats.
But survivability was a little trickier to figure out.
Yep, in terms of raw durability, Shigaraki was a lot tougher, and his ability to generate new flesh meant that he could heal any wounds he might receive super easy.
However, Mahito is a curse and is immune to the kind of overwhelming physical damage Shigaraki could dish out. Not only that, Mahito's regenerative ability via idle transfiguration meant that he'd come back from anything short of spiritual damage.
Considering Mahito's unique curse body, he should actually get the edge in survivability.
Which presents a crucial question. Could Shigaraki even kill a curse like Mahito in the first place?
Or would Mahito's unkillability give him the time he needed to eventually put Shiggy down with idle transfiguration?
It all comes down to their powers.
Shigaraki had a lot more variety with all of the crazy quirks All For One had collected over all the years, but none that we know of could properly kill a curse. That didn't mean idle transfiguration was a surefire bet either, though.
Of all things, Shigaraki's vestiges served as a spiritual shield from the effects of idle transfiguration. The fact that Mahito could not avoid targeting Sukuna while attacking Yuji meant that he couldn't target specific souls inside a person.
And Shiggy has hundreds of soul-like entities inside of him. Sure, each one down means he loses a quirk, but that's more than enough time to land a single hit with Decay, especially considering how much faster Shiggy is.
And Mahito has no way to defend against Shigaraki's primary quirk. Decay has affected spiritual beings in the past. Again, vestiges. In fact, he was able to damage Deku's vestige and have that damage transferred to the Deku in the real world.
Mahito may be made of spirit energy, but he still has a physical form. In fact, sorcerers that couldn't naturally target the soul were able to fight him on even footing. No reason to think Shiggy wouldn't decay him like everyone else.
Giving Shigaraki the third and final edge. It was a unique duel to the death, but Shigaraki's overwhelming might, unstoppable powers, and deadly decay spelled the end for the disaster curse.
Nothing else to say. You really gotta hand it to Shigaraki.
The winner is Tomura Shigaraki.
Literally.
Next time on Death Battle.
Halo?
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle.
What do y'all think about that entire video? Chelsea.
I'm shocked. I did not know what I was getting myself into tonight. That was crazy. I'm really squeamish, so a few times my mouth was probably crazy looking. But yeah, they're both insane. That's what I have to say about that. But I'm glad that the guy I bet on won.
All right, and Day.
I knew he was gonna win.
You knew he was gonna win.
Yeah.
All right, and DalilaDoll.
I just find like the whole thing of curses, powers, and what was it, quirks? I just find all that very interesting. I'm very into just like magic and metaphysical stuff, and it was cool to see that integrated into anime. I didn't know those two worlds went together.
And Faylo.
I'm happy that Mahito didn't win, not gonna lie, because I hate him. I hate him with a burning passion. I feel bad low-key for Shigaraki. Yes, he did like unalive a lot of people, not gonna make mistakes, but he originally wanted to be a hero and they kind of crushed his dreams and he ended up being a really destructive villain. So I'm like, well, that's what happens. But yeah, overall, I liked how they explained why they picked him. I didn't even think about the multiple souls aspect that would give him edge over Mahito to try and figure out how to defeat him. But overall, pretty cool.
All right, there we go, man. Y'all hit the like, hit the sub, man. Hey, follow these beautiful ladies. Thank y'all so much for coming out, man. Hit that like, hit that sub, man. We all. Dang.